Ask most people where the Ganga River begins, and they'll point high up into the Himalayas, to the frozen snout of the Gomukh Glacier. But the meltwater emerging from that ice is only the Bhagirathi River, one contributor to a much wider network. To find the true origin, we have to look at another river entirely, the Alaknanda. Think of it as a massive, high-speed natural highway. As it drops through steep mountain gradients, it collects water, rocks, and heavy glacial sediment from 5 distinct mountain confluences along its route. At the town of Devprayag, the debris-heavy Alaknanda physically smashes into the Bhagirathi. The water that emerges from this chaotic mixing bowl is what finally earns the name Ganga. It is a hydrological engine constructed from compounding force rather than a single melting ice cap. The river's character shifts when it reaches Haridwar. It exits the steep, narrow mountain gorges, loses its velocity, and expands outward to sweep across the flat plains of northern India. As it travels, it picks up water from the vast peninsular plateau to the south. Basic gravity dictates that the general slope of this plateau should force all water to flow strictly toward the east or the west. This animated map highlights a major geographic exception, the Son River. Instead of following the expected eastern or western decline, the Son cuts directly north, pushing against the continental slope to pour into the Ganga basin. To understand how water flows against the regional slope, we have to look underground. Millions of years ago, a continental plate collision cracked the Earth's crust, creating a deep subterranean trench known as a rift valley. The Son River is trapped inside this ancient fault line, and its walls force the water strictly northward. The architecture of the Ganga system is dictated by hidden tectonic scars buried beneath the Earth's surface. Further east, we meet the Kosi River. It is known widely as the sorrow of Bihar because of its habit of constantly and violently shifting its path. This diagram shows why the Kosi behaves this way. It descends from the high Himalayas carrying millions of tons of heavy rock and silt. But the moment it hits the flat plains, its velocity drops. Without the speed to push that heavy debris forward, the sediment falls out of the current, rapidly clogging its own riverbed. With the main channel choked, the water pressure building up from behind has nowhere to go. It forces the Kosi to burst its banks and carve an entirely new route through populated towns and agricultural fields. This massive sediment payload creates a different physics problem at the end of the river's journey in Bengal. Here, the land gradient is virtually flat. Without a strong current, millions of tons of silt threaten to completely choke off the Hooghly branch. This is where human engineering steps in. The Farakka barrage you see here is not a traditional dam built to store water. Its actual design is more aggressive. It is an artificial flushing mechanism. By artificially diverting a massive volume of water from the main Ganga down into the Hooghly, the barrage acts like a giant mechanical flush. It blasts the accumulated silt out to sea, keeping the channel deep enough for the industrial port of Kolkata to remain operational. The volume of crushed rock coming out of the Himalayas forces nature to randomly overwrite its own landscapes and forces engineers to continuously flush the channels just to keep the system moving. In its final act, the Ganga system divides entirely, fanning out into the Bay of Bengal to form the Sundarbans, the largest river delta on the planet. Yet, if we look past the massive scale of these mangrove forests, the health of this water machine is measured by a single specialized organism, the Ganga dolphin. There is a biological irony to this animal. It is completely blind, hunting in the murky depths using only echolocation. But while it thrives in mud, its biology demands chemical purity in the water to survive. Scientists classify the dolphin as a bioindicator. Its mere presence in a stretch of water provides immediate proof that the local ecosystem is thriving, requiring no laboratory tests to confirm. When you see one of these mammals hunting, it is living proof that the entire 2,500-kilometer sequence of mountain collisions, subterranean rifts, and mechanical flushing is functioning correctly. If this blind dolphin disappears from the channels, it is a signal that the massive hydrological system sustaining millions of lives has begun to fail.